So then that moves us to the last of the community board heard submissions this morning. The Waihoro Spreydon-Cashmere Community Board and Chair Carolyn Potter. Good to see you this morning. Welcome to the table.
Thank you, Andrew. Kia ora tātou. Lee Sampson apologises for not being here. He actually chaired the annual plan submission meeting and in my absence, and so it would have been good if he had been here. The board, our board, as usual, as it has done for the last 5 years, recognises the financial constrictions the council is under and is not seeking a huge additional expenditure for our wards. And our submission to you is made with this in mind. Disability access. We set out in our annual plan submission some principles that concerns our board and underlines all projects the way we approach all projects. I'm extremely disappointed with the council's response on disability access and have been increasingly so. We fought for years to have disability as one of the criteria for which a project would have to make a comment on when it came to us or the council. It was changed to accessibility and it's meaningless, absolutely meaningless. None of you seeing accessibility on a project and the staff's comments would ever question it and have ever questioned it, thinking that it must be about disability. But it's meant to be about disability access, so that we have buildings and structures that are built that don't even comply with the outdated Building Standards Act. And it's extraordinarily disappointing. This is a Liberal council. This is a council that represents its people, and it should be taking care and notice of some of the people who are our most vulnerable. Disability isn't about the impairment. It isn't about what they can't do. It is about loneliness. And Punawai, the sports arena, was built so that people with disabilities could not sit with other people to watch sport. Built with that. I don't know whether, of course it wasn't intended, but that's what happens. So I'd really like this council, within the constraints of its financial limitations, this year and next year and onwards, to be considering all projects with disability access in mind. It's not hard, it's easy. And even attending to the Building Standards Act would be a head start. And particularly with some of the buildings that we're already building which don't comply. Cycleways. This board, our board, has always been an enthusiastic supporter of cycleways, and we've seen the benefits in our wards. One of our schools, Beckenham, claims to have the biggest number of people per head of population on cycles. We have seen the benefits. If we look on Sparks Road, we see people striding down Sparks Road with their kids on cycles in the cycleway. And we can only support the extension of the cycleways and believe that it will be part of the public transport systems that will mean we have fewer cars on the roads. Water. Thank you, Pauline, for making it clear. Our board had a concern about supercharges for those people who had larger needs for water domestically, and your reassurances means that our board probably will not be opposed to water allocations, provided that the water is also allocated not on who pays the most rates. Our board is we do not support households receiving a larger water allowance due to higher rates. We support the 5% increase proposed for strengthening communities funding. We applaud the council for putting this proposal forward. We have a strong not-for-profit sector in our 2 wards, and we have a higher than average older persons population. We have we could not do it, we could not live it without the support of the not-for-profit sector. And we are grateful if the council manages to pursue this path of a 5% increase for strengthening communities. We are delighted that we will be able to say to some of our people who work so hard in the community that they won't be penalised this year, and that they might even see $1 or $2 extra. Road safety and travel efficiency improvements for Dyers Pass Road, Hexhorn Road, Barrington Street and Cashmere Road environs. We have several intersections that are in dire need of improvement, and you will have seen the headlines in the paper this last fortnight or so about the need on Dyers Pass Road and so on, and also the antisocial behaviour on the hills. We would like the allocation that is allowed for roading improvements to be strengthened in terms of pedestrian facilities. Our footpaths are appalling. We build them so that cars can cross safely. We do not build them for pedestrians. And so we've got dips in our footpaths like this so that cars can get across them without hurting themselves. We would have very much appreciated if people could look at the allocation that has been made for roading and pedestrian and footpaths, with an intention of increasing that funding that is allowed for footpaths. There are a lot of people having accidents on our footpaths that are still not repaired after the earthquake. Toilet renewals. Several of our parks have got exactly the same toilets with exactly the same age that are frankly disgusting. We support the Barrington Park improvement if that goes ahead. Adult recreation. You will know that I have pursued the idea of an adult playground for many years. I think if we suddenly won lotto and burst into a Margaret Mayhew for adults, there would be huge benefits in our community. I acknowledge the budget restraints, but hope that they could put in facilities for adults in terms of strengthening their strengthening equipment, playground equipment for adults, and portable libraries, speakers' corners, music, and rock climbing that would enable people to pretend that they were going there for fitness but were really going there for companionship and a reduction of loneliness. I think an adult's playground would be the first in New Zealand. They've got them overseas, they've got them in the UK, they've got them in Europe and China. I think an adult's playground would be a sparkling example to set the whole of New Zealand. And we have our priority projects that have been laid out there. There is one that has had a demise. Centennial Hall has been excluded from the budget. We were intending to suggest that that which was allocated for Centennial Hall transfer to 19 Huhei Road, which is the old children's library. We would like to see that to become a children's facility. We found out the other day that a preschool that has been there for so long we did not know it is in a community hall that was intended to be a community centre for Huhei. Huhei does not have a community centre. The children's library only needs a small amount of finance to update it and make it something that would enhance our community. In terms of bus lanes, and particularly Lincoln Road going through Addington, we understand it's a metropolitan project but wish to be involved all the way through. Personally, I'd like to see the evidence from Papanui and Sydenham bus lanes as to the importance and impact of bus lanes. I've never seen any evidence as to their worth. I think it's pretty old school traffic engineering, to tell you the truth, but our board supports it, but would not oppose a postponement of that funding for that project and that project not being initiated immediately. That's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Melanie.
Nothing tricky, Melanie. I'm fragile.
The Cashmere Huhei Worsley's project has been delayed for another year, which neither me or Tim noticed at the time.
I didn't. I thought it was starting in the spring.
So we're wondering if you had a comment on that.
Yes, sorry, I should have commented on that. That's dangerous, that intersection. It's wildly dangerous. It includes an enormous number of bikes going to the adventure park. It includes an enormous number of trucks and traffic for the development that's being pursued include up there, which will include 300 houses. It's a terrible intersection, it's dangerous, and it causes near misses every single day, and the fact that it's been postponed is wrong. It's just wrong. And it will have an impact on the local community, where it will have resulting accidents because of that delay.
All right.
And I wasn't aware of it, and I apologise. In the proposed annual plan, it said starting this spring.
That would have been the original one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning and for the verbal submission and the written submission as well. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.